17:30, I'm like, hey, what's up, hello? Sent your pretty ass soon as you came in the door. I just wanna chill, got a sack for us to roll. Married to the money, introduced her to my stove. Showed her how to whip it, now she remixing for low. She my track queen, let her hit the bando.
Alright, this is what you're going to need to build my turret pod. This is all the supplies you'll need in order to complete it. This just builds one pod. You're obviously going to want more around your base. But it is rather expensive, but I can assure you this is one of the best pods I've been able to come up with the help of several other YouTube videos, some of which I will mention in the comments. If anybody has a better design or tips on improving it, let me know. But with that, let's get started. It's a simple external. This is like your external that you'll usually use to keep up your walls around your compound, around your base. But in this case, it will add a turret pod element. So what I mean, you can either put the turrets on bottom or on top. I prefer to put them on top in most situations, as it will catch people jumping over the wall. So what I start with is your basic 1x1. Slap a ladder on. And actually I'm going to switch this so it automatically upgrades to metal. What's that key? So yeah, you're going to want all this to be metal. These don't particularly matter, but just for upkeep, I like to keep them metal anyways. It also helps if you're being rocketed. It will upkeep your windmills. So I just like for the whole thing to be metal. Then you're going to want to lay down your inner core here. TC in. Battery. And your garage doors can go on. Apologize, the video is probably sloppy, but I don't make these very often. Alright, you actually don't want these locks on yet, since you're going to have to put on door controllers, which you cannot do with the locks. I just like to put them right up against the door to make sure they hit the right door. And then just pair them all. Done. Alright, you can leave these open for the rest of the video. Next thing I'll explain is the windmill. This part is pretty easy. You're just going to want to climb on top. Build it whichever way you want, on whichever side, it does not matter. I usually put it in towards my base, so if my base was this direction, I would have it on that side. And then Now this is the highest you're going to be able to place these twigs. However, what I like to do is go up one more level, which can be done if you oh yeah, see, there's not enough stability, but it will work if you put it like this. And the side again closest to my base, whichever side that may be. In this case, it would be this side. This is the side I put a turret tower on. I put this here so even if they are able to take out your SAMs, it makes flying into your base nearly impossible because you have a bunch of turrets up here all around your base shooting people down. So for this part, you're going to need your first turret as well as a Balti, and you're going to need ammo. I like to use Incend ammo, pairs very well with the Balti. So just get like 100 of that is fine. And you're also going to need your prison cell wall and prison cell gates. You might as well grab your... Oh, I forgot to show the... Also going to need a wind turbine, obviously. You can head back up. So since this is the side closest to your base, you're going to put this on here. You got your lock on. You can put your turret facing whichever direction you want. I usually try to keep them facing a circular motion around my base, so whichever way I start, I just keep going that direction. That way it will have 100 or 360 degree coverage around the entire base. Put down your turret, off whoever you need to, then throw in your weapon and your ammo. And coming up here, we can place the windmill. This should be twig, by the way, these top two pieces, because, or actually, well, this side should be. You're going to leave that side, but unless you want your turret to be able to shoot out, but it also loses protection not having a roof on, so I usually delete this whole side. And then you no longer need this, which will destroy that. So now you have your turret pod, windmill, and you have this sticking out here, which I like to leave because I like to put a searchlight there facing away from your base, which is why I have the turret pod facing the other way. Grab your searchlight. And once that goes up, we're almost ready for the electrical part. Alright, and oh, your RF, throw down your RF receiver as well. We might as well throw these down. And RF receiver I already have, okay. If you want, you can just slide it right in between, I believe. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter where you put it. Alright, set a frequency to something only you will know. And we're almost ready for the electrical. The next thing you can do is put up your RF heartbeat sensors. I just like to put one on each side. If you have high walls up on certain sides, you can also place them up here on this outer on these outer ones so that they're seeing over the wall. That way if somebody climbs over your wall, it will instantly trigger. But if that's not an issue, then just put them all around however you want. That way you have 360-degree coverage with the heartbeat sensors. And the last thing I would recommend, decide which direction you want these two turrets facing. I usually have them facing whichever way the walls are going. If the walls are on this side and this side, then obviously put the turrets facing these two directions. So they're covering everything inside my turret, plus left and right, if anybody decides to climb over the wall. Alright, then again, you're going to want to load them with a Balti. I prefer Baltis. You can use whatever you like. Pythons are good as well, but I've always been a fan of Baltis, so then you want to load them with ammo as well. Authorize whoever you need. And that's the construction setup. So it's done from here. Well, almost done. What I also like to add at the end is one more door frame, just because it will, make the raid cost to your TC and your electrical the same as if they blow through the metal, is if you add a secondary door, a secondary armored door, which we have right here. So there'll be one there, and there'll be one here. And it also gives you a airlock. Alright, so this is your construction setup. Everything is good to go. Now what you're going to need is all the electrical stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw out all this stuff we already used that we will not need again. This is your transmitter. That'll come in handy at the end. You are going to need a total of 19 electrical branches, but since I'm on a build server, I'm just going to keep one of them in my inventory and show you where they all go and what to set them as. You actually don't need that window. That's for another design I have that's similar to this, but it's if you're building it off of pre-existing externals. But for now, we don't need that. So let's just get the stuff we need and go back inside. Alright, you're probably going to want to use this big wall for the RF side. So the RF sensors are going to use... first thing I like to do is just lay the ground with 8 of these. Just like this. Alright, and then you're going to want to use your 5 AND switches. 4 of them will go right here. And the last one will go over on this side next to your receiver. And it's going to be the same general setup with the AND switch. Alright, for the OR switch, each of these have to go into an OR switch. So you're going to have one in the middle here, because this one's going to connect with this one over here. I'm going to put one right there. And then this one is going to connect higher up along with the 2 that go into this one. You want to make sure the one with the RF receiver is going into this one and not the final one, because throwing it in the final one can screw up some of the electrical. So just do it this way and it will work. Alright, that's all your... oh, you still need a switch and a timer. That's all the AND switches you need. You can decide which switch you want. I personally like using smart switches just because it's another means to turn them on and off, as well as knowing when they're being rated. So I just throw that down somewhere. Right here is fine. And then you're going to also want a timer, so you can put that right above it if you want. And then the other electrical branches. Alright, so you're going to want to put one up here, actually 2, because that's going to go to your searchlight and to your turret and into your battery. You're going to want it to hit the turret and the searchlight before it hits the battery. That way because the reason why we built it up one extra level is so that it's getting enough power that it can still power everything in here while not using power off the battery. It's going to go to the searchlight and to that turret before it even hits the battery. Alright, and then there's going to be, let's see, 1 down here, 2, like that, and then 3 somewhere off here to the side is fine. Alright, these are all the switches you should need, I believe. Let's see, that's 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yes, this is perfect. Alright, now connecting it all. What I like to do before I even start connecting it is set these up. All the ones going to the RF sensors are the heartbeat sensors outside. You're going to want to make sure these ones on the floor are 6, power 6. And the one going into the RF receiver is going to have power 7 on the floor. And that's going to be the first one that gets hooked up coming out of the switch. So, but coming out of the switch before it hits those, it's going to hit this one. And this one is going to be power 36. And this one over here is going to be power 31, followed by power 9, followed by power 10. And up here, it will be power 4. The rest can all be left alone. They will work fine. Oh, sorry, I forgot about these two. So it's going to come down into this one from the windmill, and that will branch out into this one. So we'll go ahead and connect that. The power out will go directly to the battery. This one needs to be set at 21, which is enough to power the second branch along with the searchlight and turret, which you'll set to 10, so that there's 10 going to the turret, 10 going to the searchlight, which we can go ahead and connect right now. You can just do a pass-through and avoid using one of those electrical branches if you just want to pass through it. But the problem is it's easier to destroy this searchlight than it is to destroy this turret. And if they destroy the turret and you're using it as a pass-through for the, or if they destroy the searchlight and you're using it as a pass-through for the turret, then your turret will also go offline. So I prefer just to use the one extra power, second electrical branch, and run it separately. That way you don't have an issue with them destroying the turret as well as the searchlight just by destroying the searchlight. Alright, so now those are set up. You can go ahead and power in your battery to get it charging. And you'll notice immediately your searchlight and turret are now online up top. I like to set these up first because it gives you a little coverage, because even down here, this turret can still shoot people coming up. So it does give you a little extra protection while you're working. But generally speaking, like I said, I do this all the way around my main compound with all my externals. So I usually don't have too big of an issue with worrying about people attacking me while I'm building. Alright, next step. We'll save the most complicated stuff for last, so let's go ahead and take care of the turrets. This one is 31. You aren't even going to use the power out on this one. You're just going to use the branch out. And this one had a branch out of 9. That's because it's going to go to your door controllers, which need to be connected here, and then here, and then here. And then these 4 are your door controllers. I'm usually a little nicer with the wiring, but since this is just a quick tutorial, who really cares? And your last one. Alright, your door controllers are all set up now. They will have power once you complete the circuit. Alright, and then your power out from here, you'll have a remaining 21 power will go to here, and you have 10 and 10 coming out of here because you set it to 10, which will power your turrets. Alright, everything above is set up. Now it's just a matter of connecting everything in here. Alright, so this switch over here that you set to 36, that's going to get its power directly from the switch. So you're going to want to run that down, power in. The switch is going to get its power directly from the battery, which you see is still even after using 21 power up here, you're still getting 104 power in, which will go up and down some. But all of this plus the turrets above only use about 70 power on average, so you're still getting more than enough power to make sure that this can be turned on at any time. Your battery will be full of power by the end of the night, because when the stuff is not open, when nothing's being triggered, it's only using about 30 some power in here. So you'll have more than enough to make sure it's all done. Alright, then from here, the 36 power one, the power out goes directly into the timer. The branch out is going to go to your RF receiver first. Well, it doesn't matter. You could do these first, but I just have a habit of doing the RF first since it's a singular. And then it's going to power out to all these other ones. And they're going to power out down the line. And all this added up, these are each 6, plus that's 7, plus the cost of the electrical branches, is why this is set to 36. And then these, your power out is just going to go straight up into the next one. Or your branch out is going to go straight up into the next electrical branch on all of them. Then you're going to branch out to each device, and you're going to power out to your input B on your AND switches above. So AND switch, input B, AND switch, input B, AND switch, input B, input B. And your power out goes into your receiver, and then your power out will go into your input A. Same thing with the RF, or the heartbeat sensors. So you're going to go outside and connect all of these. Same thing, the power out will go into input A of the AND sensor. And I believe I picked up one of the RF receivers earlier, so I need to put one more of those back down. Since this door is now here, you can't put it directly this way, but what you can do is, if you want to put it here on the edge, whichever way, whichever direction you think is better, just throw it there, it's fine. You still have pretty good coverage. You're going to obviously want to place this on the side that you don't want direct line access, and can have a little wiggle room with where the heartbeat sensor goes, whichever side you build this door on, as well as this door. Alright, so then you just connect all of those. Same thing I just showed you. Branch out to power in, power out to input A of the AND sensor. And last but not least, alright, that's the hard part. You've gotten most everything connected. Next, it's just simply connecting these to your OR switches, which run into your timer. So, like I said before, this one will go directly in here, as will this one. Two singular one RF, or one heartbeat sensor and one RF receiver will be on one of these. Again, make sure you do not use this one to go directly in to your final one, or it causes some issues. Instead, you're going to want to connect these two middle ones to this middle one, connect this last one to here, and then you're going to want to run the power out from this one into this one. So now you have these two that are plugging in to your final OR switch. And the final OR switch will connect to the timer trigger. And the output here is going into that 31 that we talked about earlier, the one that we set to 31, which controls everything else. So now your circuit's complete. All you got to do is turn it on, set your timer. I usually like it to stay open for about 5 minutes when the heartbeat sensors are triggered, or when I trigger it using the frequency, which is currently 1738. You'd also set your remote to 1738. And as you see, as soon as you walk outside, to show you its effectiveness, you're probably going to want to close all these doors first. Of course, I crash. Well, close the doors. As soon as somebody walks by your turret pod, the doors will open, the turrets will kick on, and they'll shoot them. Or you can use your RF transmitter to transmit the signal and open all your turret pods at the same time. If you're being online raided, this is a good defense because you're going to want them open. You're going to want anybody coming from any direction immediately killed. You don't want to wait for the garage doors to open. But if people are just running by your base, checking it out, and they run a little too close, the garage doors open, they die, you take their loot, bada boom, bada bang, it's done. That's really all I have to show you. That's my favorite turret pod. It provides searchlights all around your base. It provides 3 turrets that all your extremely come from, through the doors or through the metal. And it gives your base pretty good coverage all around. I personally like the design, and if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or improvements, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Thank you. Alright, so I just wanted to do a quick recap since you didn't get to see it before the server went down. It's all hooked up as we went over, and then you just turn it on. Make sure your timer is set. 5 minutes. You can set it to whatever you want though, and you're good to go. Anybody walking around it will trigger it. You can also set the RFIDs to exclude you if you'd like, to exclude all your authorized players. I usually leave it on just in case I'm running from somebody and run into my compound. Gives you a little extra protection early on. But yep, that's everything. You got a turret up top, 2 down here, a searchlight you can point outwards from your base in any direction you want. Alright, I hope I've explained everything clear enough. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or ideas on ways it can be improved, please let me know in the comments. Thank you. Oh, and again, you can also use, if you prefer to use this on top of your roof, you can open them all using that as well.